Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good, what is it, Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday. It is, incredibly cold here. Um, so, but yeah, we're gonna get started here pretty soon, as always. Good evening, Curtis Coils. How are you? Hopefully, I don't think I ever had a chance to talk to you how your show went on Saturday. But Autumn Leaves Exotics, hello, how are you? Morbid Morphs, what is happening? Agagrin, how are you today? Like I said, it is incredibly
It's
cold.
already starting again.
What's already starting?
Stuttering.
The stuttering. We thought we had it fixed, so we might have little drops, I guess. We'll probably have to get back in contact with our internet provider. So apologize for any stuttering that we have. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it outside of just not doing it. And we never had these issues before, so it's kind of weird and interesting. So, also, we're not going to have the light working. The light was apparently only good for 2 uses. so, hi AT, how are you today? All right, let me go ahead and get this started. I think this is good. Hey, everybody. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit dark. Darker than it had been, at least on the camera here. Just for whatever reason, our little ring light thingy here they decided to work twice, so obviously I'm returning it. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. There's a few that I missed, unfortunately, that I actually was going to talk about. We just got started a tad bit late here. I actually wanted to start it at like 6:30, and I just totally lost track of time. So, but I'm still going to talk about them because they were still cool, and I want to show people some of the interesting things. And it looks like it's actually somehow glitched and showed me where they ended. So this one didn't even sell, unless it just somehow didn't. Where was that one? Okay. But yeah, there's a few of them. I'll go through here. These ones from Corey Woods Reptiles, they're nearly breeder size. They were all like subadult. The males might even be pretty much ready. Now, Corey Woods, as you see up there in the left-hand corner, is out of Canada, but they do ship into the United States. So it makes it worth talking about, especially at the prices you're seeing here for some visual puzzles. If this is what they actually ended at, that's pretty wild, and I think it'd be worth it. Now, the cost of shipping in an animal, it's a bit from Canada, $250, and I think that might be per animal, just given how it is to bring them in. But maybe reach out to them and find out. But they've got some of the more reasonable importing. That doesn't look like this ended. Why does it say it ended? Pastel Enchi. It says ended right there, but yet it's still going. Even Morphmarket's cold, apparently. Let me just refresh. See what happens, right? Yeah, they're all still going. I still got 4 minutes or so, except for this one. That's the only one that ended. But there's a lot of puzzles, and there was one that is even, I think that's potentially Het Monsoon. So that they're ending like right now. Here's the one. Yeah. Female, Pastel Enchi, Het Red Exantic, possible Het Pied, possible Het Monsoon. There's a lot going on here. If this one proves out for all that, obviously that's going to be pretty big, and it's subadult female. It does not show a weight here. Actually, maybe it does here on this card. Nope, not seeing anything, but it definitely looks a little bit bigger. Being a subadult, that means that they're gonna need a lot less time to get to size. Yes, that pricing is for shipping is a bit much, but when you consider kind of what you might be getting, especially on some of these other ones, I just want to show them off because they're basically at least halfway to size on all of these. Here's another one that's male. Oh, that's the one that ended, so we'll go ahead and just move on from now on. Besides, there's a visual male right here with few minutes left to go. Pastel puzzle, Het Red Exantic male. Puzzle's really awesome. I absolutely love puzzle. We're starting to work it quite a bit more. I actually have it pretty much to work into my Monarch projects, but there is a lot to love for it just by itself. The saying goes that puzzle is the new clown. I don't know about that, but it is really cool, and you can see why. I mean, look, it just totally messes the pattern up and just creates all this nutty wacky pattern. The thought process is that they look like little puzzle pieces and whatnot, but I'll leave that to your imagination. I just think it looks cool. It's completely like compresses it kind of and makes it a little bit more wavy, and definitely keeps it on the sides, but it shows it on the top too. So very, very cool. And there's some bidding going on these. Again, they're based in Canada. It's a lot cheaper if you're watching this from Canada to get it, but regardless, you're getting this for a good price right now. And this male here, is this a sub-adult? No, that's a baby. This one is a baby. So, this one here, another one baby. This is a Lemon Blast puzzle female. So the Lemon Blast is basically pinstripe and pastel, but it compresses the same way. It's just it does it in its normal pinstripe type fashion, so you can see it not being on the sides as much, and when it is, it's more well, it's more on the dorsal, and then this, I wish I could get a better look at it. There we go. This very thin, like almost like these little archways, just consistently repeating over and over. It's kind of neat. So puzzle is really cool. It works well with just about anything, quite frankly. I've heard it's not as great with clown, but again, that's something I don't plan to work it with clown myself. So back into the comments here real quick before I continue. Actually, make sure I don't miss out on any. Oh yeah, before I jump into the comments, I don't want to miss out on these ones that are ending soon. Pastel mahogany puzzle, and mahogany is definitely more interesting to me when it comes to puzzle, because I think it's gonna bring in a lot of the more of those awesome colors and whatnot there. Mahogany is just a really, really beautiful gene. If you haven't worked it, definitely consider it. It's a key component of the Suma pied with the two copies of it, the super mahogany. So in puzzle, I can't see it not looking just as amazing. The point of the matter is that it doesn't just create like an all black snake. It actually creates a lot more contrast and color, and almost looks the Sumas, that is, they almost look like they're paradox. So I would love to see it in puzzle, see what it ends up doing. Maybe it ends up completely washing it with a darker tone, but I don't know about that. So I think that is it for those ones. Yeah, we'll get to this one soon, but those are not ending anytime soon. So looks like one of them ended there. Always fun when we get one that's about to end and just watch kind of like a bidding war. So Macamorph, how are you today? Sarah, how are you? Carter, I got one from Corey. Stuck at the broker now. Oh, so you actually ended up getting one from them. I think you were telling me about that, actually. Yeah. Bongo Orange Ghost Genetic Stripe. Boy, Bongo's heavily underrated, so that's cool, though. So the way I understand it, when you're buying from somebody, it's coming from another country, so it's a little bit different. My understanding, maybe I could be wrong here, and maybe is that they send them in, and it goes to a broker, and that broker basically is kind of in charge of them. So it's a kind of a 2-day type thing, or a little while, maybe more than 2 days, but it stays with the broker for a while or for a day, and then when they ship it out, then it's like 1 day shipping. And right now everything's frozen right now, literally. So there's no shipping, I'm sure, coming out of Canada of all places when it's this cold. So basically it's in transit twice, from my understanding. Once to the broker and then the other time to you. The broker takes care of it basically in the meantime, so they're gonna know how to take care of it or give it water or whatnot. So at least a good one. So that's my understanding of how it works when I have talked to a few different people about it. So the broker has to have customs inspect it. That makes sense. So when I spoke to someone else about it, they said that their broker essentially will care for the animal for a little while, which is why it's more expensive. And so they're going to put it up and give it water and take care of it, essentially, before they eventually reship it once everything is done. That was my understanding. So, alrighty. Macamorph puzzle is not as nice in clown. and genetic stripe, in my opinion. And that does make some sense, especially for the genetic stripe, because it's already kind of doing the stuff with the stripe, and they kind of eliminate, they kind of make it kind of pointless, I would assume, right? I'm sure that they do something, but it would not be as impactful as what you're seeing here when it already does that. I guess the clown one, from my understanding with other people that I've heard anyway, that it just wasn't what they thought. Not that it's bad, it just wasn't what they thought. So,
Can you switch off camera for a second?
you want to test something?
I want to see what the stats are saying.
Okay. Full screen, right? Is that what we do? Full screen?
That probably worked.
Okay, full screen. No, that's not right.
But
Bear with us just a
is
second.
it showing the camera or not?
No, here we go. Start. No, what do we do?
Just any.
There we go.
doesn't
Okay,
have
okay.
The camera.
You know I'm a boomer when it comes to this. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know, it was stuttering really bad, but it's not reporting anything. Is that on my end?
Is anybody else having problems with the stream? I'm gonna go back to the computer cam. They're telling you good evening, Owl Man.
Good evening.
All right, we're gonna put the camera back on.
It was a bit of
If anybody's having any issues, if you could just let us know if it's stuttering or if it's lagging in any way. We're trying to battle this, so everybody says no, working fine. Might just be on your end, Jenny. Yeah. So Carter broker repackages and is supposed to be feeding him. He's been there since the start of December. Okay. Yeah, that's how I understood it too, and that's good to know. So it makes it a lot. It makes you feel a lot better, I'm sure, with shipping them and whatnot. Especially when you're getting them from good sources. I know that Corey Wood is one of the Corey Woods is one of the better ones. So yeah. And thank you everybody for letting us know that you're not having any issues. If anything happens, just let us know too. Like I said, we're trying to fight this. I don't know. We thought we had it locked down. We called them and they said it was good. So, but yeah, just some ones to think about here. It looks like there's a bit of bidding war going on here. And I'm not sure if it's per animal here. Like I said, I'm not perfect on that, or if you could box them all together. I imagine it might still be a little bit more, given what goes into it when you're importing them. But still a great deal. I notice a lot of these ones go for a lot less than others, probably just because they don't, they're only, a lot of people think that they're only selling to Canada. There are many breeders that say Canada only. So definitely always look before you bid, because it shows by Canada and basically US, Canada, US. And we're kind of in the same exact market, which, I don't know if that is a good thing or if it should be. I imagine the amount of people who have issues with it are slim to none. So let's see here. 7 of my 28 snakes that I bought from Morphmarket were listed as females, but were actually males. That's SNS lawn care. Well, unfortunately that can happen. We actually just recently made a video about how to gender your animal and whatnot, and it can sometimes mistakes do happen. If you got them all from the same person, though, that might be a little, I don't know. But definitely reach out to the seller. Usually they'll take care of it in some way or another. You know what I mean? If they offer a discount, or if there's something that can be worked out, I'm sure. So yeah, definitely reach out to the seller first, and then if you're not getting any help, I mean, you didn't purchase what you purchased, so try to come to a resolution first, and then if you can't, then you might need to reach out to Morphmarket, unfortunately. So Straight Blast Pythons, good evening, how are you? So looks like a few of these ended. We're gonna go ahead and move forward though, but not completely on yet, because we're still going to talk about puzzle here. These ones are a little bit smaller. Actually, it looks like there's just one. I think they're just showing the two off there. So this is the one you're getting. And it's a female Enchi puzzle, 50% head albino. So again, another one with the puzzle gene. And a puzzle albino would look pretty nice, because you're still getting the color morph, but that crazy pattern of the puzzle. The good way to go, and a female at that, with about 2 days left, just over 2 days on this one here. So if you want to work the puzzle, that is a good morph to pick. There's no doubt about that. They are really neat. They're really cool. They're completely wacky with what they do with the pattern of the animal. I absolutely love the puzzle I have. I'm actually now that I made my double hets for the Monarch, I'm kind of going for the actual visual puzzles and whatnot this year. So that was surprising that I even got her to lay last year. I didn't expect it, so that was a lot of fun. So and I happened to luck out on the odds and get exactly pretty much what I needed. So alrighty, all right, moving into clown with this Wookiee Mojave Yellow Belly Clown, and these are really exciting. I absolutely love what Wookiee does in clown. The Mojave definitely helps it out for sure, and Yellow Belly helps literally everything out other than depending on how you feel itself, because super yellow bellies are in fact an all white snake. And did this just end? Well, it just ended. What the heck? I must have moved things around. It just ended as we're watching it, but still kind of a point to talk about with it. Looks like they are willing, Genetic Genesis, if you're looking at other auctions of theirs, and I did see them in there, they're willing to deliver to Tinley or any RBC. SERE, I'm not sure about that one. South. Oh, that's the newer one. I can't remember the name of it. Reptile Expo. Southeast Reptile Expo. I think that's the one from Bob's Balls, if I am correct. So that's pretty good because they've got some time before those, at least for the Tinley ones, that's for sure. That's a really cool deal just to hold on to them and then deliver it. So that means, they are offering free shipping anyways. I didn't even see that. Regardless, the Wookiee clowns are a really good option to get into. There's so much cool stuff, but immediately I think of the Kraken, and this is the Kraken. It's one of the coolest snakes ever, and I feel like nobody talks about it. They're always talking about the Pompeys, which makes sense. Pompeys are awesome, but I feel like the Kraken got replaced by the Pompey just because it was too much good and people could only pay attention to one. But I really appreciate this one, in fact, that it's a little bit, honestly, darker with these little smaller suction cup patterns, which is where it gets its name from. It looks like the suction cups of the mythological Kraken were like attached to this animal or something like that. So that's how some of the stuff you might be playing around with. As you can see, you already got the Wookiee and the Yellow Belly there. You're just missing a couple ingredients, and you can make something as cool as this. Quite frankly, maybe even a little bit better, because you've got more to play with the Mojave. You just don't want to put any other Blue-Eyed Lucy genetics in there. You'd be awfully disappointed to hit a Kraken that's all white and with blue eyes. So that's that. But there's nothing really, in my opinion, that would go better. So other than maybe Russo or something like that. So take a look at some of the comments here. I'm going to an expo this weekend. A vendor I know is going to check the gender of two of my snakes just to make sure the male and female are the right gender. Granted, if they both ended up girl, if you, sometimes that happens, but more often than not, you're sadly getting a girl sent to you that's actually a boy. And the reason for that is not always nefarious. In fact, quite often it is not. It's not somebody who tried to mess you. It can be, but it's not probably someone who tried to mess you over or screw you over or whatever. It's harder to see. I mean, if you pop them or whatnot, if you make a mistake on probing, you don't see the hemipenes. The probe doesn't go all the way in, so you think you got a female. It's easier to mistake a female than it is a male for a female, if that makes sense. Once you see the hemipenes, it's pretty darn obvious. So it's not always, and it happens. People do, in fact, make mistakes. That's why it's always nice to try to gender as you're selling, if you can, just as a backup to show the seller or quite frankly yourself, to make sure that you are putting it out there. And it still will happen, but you were mentioned 7 out of 828 is pretty poor luck, to say the least. So let's see here, Sarah, you get more females for the new boys. What says females? Well, I think they were saying that they were the boys for the females, but maybe you already have enough. E.T. the Kraken. Yes. That is one of the coolest snakes created, especially for clown. Like this gray slate head. practically black, the perfectly contrasted black background, but you faded on the side, and the beautifully just powerful orange pattern. So incredible looking animal, there's no doubt about it. And the Wookiee really makes that really possible. The GHI obviously, you know, everything really plays a role in making this animal as beautiful that it is. So all right, the next one though, this is a unique one, and it's selling based on its uniqueness and that insane head stamp. So I had not heard of this one. It's only got an hour left, but it's going. It is selling for $1,500, a little over. It's called the Pharaohs. It is a super inchy orange dream leopard pastel bamboo hypo. That also happens to be 60 or 50% het pied. That's a lot of genetics. So it's not like it's not worth it for that. It looks insane. It almost looks like it has Desert Ghost in there, but that's the hypo popping through. I'm a little stunned that it looks like this, and that it's but let's face it, the pattern on its head is really where it's at. That is pretty darn unique, to say the least, and it's pretty clean at that. I feel like if you go back in time to well, maybe the pharaoh-ish type days, that someone would worship this animal as a deity, or at least see it as some sort of crazy sign. It's pretty cool. It's pretty darn unique, that's for sure. It also happens to be the thumbnail for this video, if you hadn't noticed. So, yeah, and just a really cool animal. Whether you are in the market for something for that much or not, it does have some use as a breeder. There's no doubt about it. This isn't just some paradox by any means. There's nothing paradox about this animal. It has a lot going for it. The fact that it's pied, you know, I'm not really seeing bamboo, but there's so much going on here with orange dream and pastel that, you know, I definitely could. You definitely could. It almost looks Batman in some ways, honestly. Absolutely nuts what's happening here. And like I said, that head pattern is definitely one of a kind. You don't get anything quite like that. So the pied, though, if it is bamboo, at least in my experience, is not something that you're normally going to get much out of. Maybe the super inchy would bring that back if it ended up being visual, but that's something I tried to do, and I did not have any luck getting patterned into bamboo with pied. So it's the head stamp is just so cool, I had to include it. I mean, if anybody wants a unique animal, well, there you go. It's not even paradox. That's makes it even more unique, is that it didn't end up having to be a paradox to be so cool. So I guess the Kraken rolled up on the encounter. Only one party member made it alive. And we're not playing D&D here. Though I wouldn't be against it, Johnny. D&D campaign.
Maybe.
Wonder if Orange Dream would ruin it. For the Kraken, I don't think so. It would lighten it, but I think it would actually make it better. Orange Dream usually does well with quite a bit, so. Necromorph. Oh, it looks like it froze up on your end, though. Okay. Hey, Picture Perfect Pythons, how are ya? The head stamp on the thumbnail one. Yep. That one, it is really nice. It is very, very nice. But what a lot of what's being fueled in the price that you're seeing here going for is uniqueness here. It's kind of it is unique in that aspect too, in that it is a powerful animal. It's just, I don't know if I would say it's that, price. It's that head stamp that's making it worth it. Everybody wants something unique. Everyone wants something unique, and I mean, it looks like a person on there. So, very, very cool. All right, moving right along into this Cypress clown that happens to be head pied. Another girl at that. This one has less than a day. It does have a reserve price though. Difficult to say where that's at. honestly. But you know what I always say is bid it up to where you're comfortable. So if you're comfortable at 600, don't just put 600, put 625, or sorry, don't do that. Put 525, then 550 if it still isn't gone. Then put 570. You get the point until you get to 600, and then stop if you're not wanting to go over that, because either the reserve price will have gone away and then you're at your comfortable limit, or let's just say it was 700 that you were willing to spend. Well, if you end at 600, then you're cool. Then you could save $100 maybe. But the point of the matter is, if it gets to the point where you no longer want to go any higher, well, if the reserve price is not met, no harm, no foul, because it's just going to be null and void unless someone else bids on it, in which case it wouldn't matter anyways. So, no biggie there. Cypress is really good with Clown, though. I absolutely love it. We can't wait to start working into a lot of combos here. We actually have it mixed with Pixel, actually, too, and I want to make the Pixel Cypress Clowns eventually. I need to make some hats and whatnot, though, first, because Pixel is kind of a newer one, I guess. It's a granulation type gene, but I think it works really good with the Cypress, actually. I think that one I need to grab. You and Shed. This is a Pixel. Maybe now that the thing is not blinding you like it was the previous weeks, you can actually see it. Still not great picture, but this is the Pixel Cypress at that. I think you might just be coming out of Shed as well. But you can see the granulation in there. It was proven, I believe, that there's a super of this as well. So very, very cool animal. I want to get the Clown into this as well, and she should go this year. She's the right size. She's a Pixel Cypress Pastel. She happens to be genetic stripe as well, but I was told that that's not the greatest avenue, because the genetic stripe, similar how we were talking about the puzzle, kind of takes away from what the Pixel would be doing, just like the genetic stripe would kind of conflict with what puzzle's doing. So, let's see. Sarah, I've always had expensive taste. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Trust me. That one would be a cool one to get as a unique animal. Some sort of cool ambassador that just looks insane. So, but yeah, if you're interested in this animal here, bid it to where you're comfortable. I actually won one today, which, we'll show. I think we might do a video on a couple of them that I'm getting it after, once we receive them, after the freeze. Yeah, in the United States, or up here at least, is over, and we can actually ship things again. I'll get a couple animals in here that I'm pretty excited about. I honestly only think I'll get maybe one more this entire year that I'm looking to get into. It's a really higher end gene. It's not even on Morphmarket yet. So yeah, just bid up to where you're comfortable, though, is the long story short of that one. That should always be the case with reserve auctions. But don't put it right to where you want it. Don't bid directly. Otherwise, if you ain't Sentinel, but they're the same gene. If they're not the same gene, they do the same thing. So either way, when you see it, paint is really cool. It's kind of a granulation type gene as well, but it's even more wild. It almost like smears the entire sides of the animal. Paint is heavily underappreciated, in my opinion. I often find it to be the polar opposite, kind of almost like it's yin and yang of puzzle. In that puzzle is clean, though. It's chaotic, but it's clean. Whereas this is chaotic and dirty. And dirty sounds like a, dirty word, but it doesn't always have to be. Granulation is not necessarily clean, and that is cool. Chaos is cool, and it is a type of contrast, which everyone knows I love. Mixing this up with colors and whatnot is just so cool. There's so many different combos that people haven't even begun to discover yet. On top of that, this is an adult male that's ready to go. It doesn't show the size, but you can see it in their hand here. They're saying it's pretty much ready to go. Looks like the last buyer fell through in an auction. I mean, it's got 24 hours left with $80. This is a good way to start pairing, paint into your projects. If you want to start making double hets or triple hets or whatever. You buy yourself a male, grow it up, or in this case, you don't need to grow it up. You just get it, and then you can start making combinations or double hets with the paint and other such recessives. And on top of that, you can create combos where you're getting like kind of how I am with that pixel, where I'm trying to get it into clown and things like that. So you can get it into other genetics to create new combinations people haven't done. And there's a lot that people haven't done with paint. It's a really nice gene. Don't understand why it hasn't been worked. I very nearly went into paint rather than puzzle, quite frankly. When I went, I was kind of debating which one when I went to go get one of them, I was debating which one I wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted to eventually put it in the Monarch. So that's kind of why I went with puzzle. I think that they paired a bit better. And people have made, not very many, but people have made Monarch puzzles now, and I'm pretty happy about it. So Gorilla, maybe. If you're asking about the other gene I'm going to get into, yes, that is the one. You caught me. I've been pretty excited. So, and I haven't made that a secret necessarily to get into the Gorilla gene. I've talked with them. I mean to actually reach out very soon again, because there's a specific combo that I'm really looking for, I should say. So, hoping they got it for Arch Tinley here in a couple months. Why did I do this? I do not know why I put that there. We'll come back to that. There's a reason why I did that, I'm sure. Oh, I think I know why. But it's too late. I was talking about this one. Hey, there's just a couple of minutes. I still have time. I was talking about the Suma. I mentioned the Suma earlier. Well, we'll go back in time and talk about it real quick. It's still being bid on. So when I talked about the mahogany and I mentioned Suma, well, I figured I'd show a Suma pied off. Where the heck was it? There we go. The Suma pied's my favorite. Pied. There we go. If that sort of color that you could get in there, and if you could tame it in any way, shape, or form, I don't know if you could, to do anything with puzzle, that would be pretty cool. I don't know if that would be the case. But either way, mahogany's a good one in there. So that's why that's over there. It's just out of order. All right. Before we move on, I wanted to talk about some of the awesome Hognoses. There's actually a decent amount this week. Usually there's no more than 1 or 2 pages, but quite often it's like 2 rows. So actually an okay amount this week. So first off, wanted to talk about this Snow, which is also a purple line, and I really like this one too. Snows are often kind of faded and they have red eyes. Sometimes they're nearly patternless. But sometimes this like pink will come through, and especially if it's the purple line, which is a polygenic morph, which means that everything it breeds to is going to have a little bit of an example of that purple line. But it's a combination of the 2 recessives, albino and axanthic, and often when you have an exceptional one, you get these light pink ones. And I don't know. I know that in ball pythons, anyways, we have the tendency to say that there's a certain color when it's only vaguely there, right? Like red, especially, or anything like that. We're just like, oh, that thing's red, and it's really just a really exceptional burnt orange. But this is pink. I think that's pink. Perfect, just in time for Valentine's Day. The pinks and colors that you can get on some of these hogs are just insane. So the Snows are really awesome ones that you can work. That's just so exceptional. And the purple line, that's gonna put it over the top. This being a male can start breeding into things. It looks like it's got an okay amount of size to it. So definitely not breeder yet, but kind of on its way. And next up would be easily my favorite type of morph, at least singular anyways, would be the albinos, and this one being extreme red. Extreme red, again, is a polygenic trait. Something you don't see very much in ball pythons, or at the very least we probably do. We just don't pay any attention to them because there's a billion different other morphs for us that we're all looking at. So, but you can see here that this looks more exceptional than most albino hognoses that there are. So if he wasn't so cantankerous, I'd actually show you mine that I got from JMG. Still pretty darn nice to this day looking one. I keep looking over at him, but he's pretty cantankerous, and I don't feel like getting bitten right now by him. Exceptional color. He kind of reminds me of him though. Just mine is also het, Exantic, and sable as well. I mean, I already said he's extreme red, so it's a very nice thing when you're getting into the albinos that you can find something that's this exceptional and this bright. So here's another one right here. This is a pair of them though, and this one's a little bit darker, in fact. But you get a male and a female. Looks like the male is here, female here. I think the male is a little bit more dark, no doubt, actually, in my mind. So if you want to start working those and pairing them together, so you're kind of reinforcing the trait, really, right? If you're putting two of the extreme red together, that's the sort of stuff that you get when you're starting to line breed and you're making these exceptional examples of animals. And it's something that the hognose community, I think, does just really well. Same thing here. I showed off a lot of them for a reason, just to show you the extraordinary examples of all these really nice oranges and some yellows popping through in there. This one here does have a reserve price, but I think this one here is a breeder. Yeah, so this one's a proven breeder, so you can see they age very well. So, and they don't need to be as big as a ball python by any means. In fact, they're much, much smaller. So it is really dark on that camera. Like, it got darker. I don't know why. So
the screen's not as bright
on this particular one. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm such a boomer when it comes to this stuff. Anyways, that kind of does it for the hognoses this week, but still a lot of really cool examples, especially if you're looking for albinos. Alrighty, back into ball pythons with this black pastel scaleless head, mahogany. Well, there you go with mahogany again. Het pied. So another one you could work into that Suma thing, although I don't know if that would work out as well unless you went the het pied route, which actually would be exceptional. So yeah, do that. The idea of it being that black pastel mahogany can kind of they can go together and not create those snakes with that like super black pastel gets, where you have some kinking possibilities. Well, anytime you breed, you have the ability for that, but you have a little bit higher chance if you put super black pastel or super cinnamons together. The scaleless head, though, is not something I technically or personally would recommend most people pursue. Scaleless ball pythons, as it says here, is a het scaleless, are really beautiful. Nobody's taking that away. In fact, if you made a black pastel mahogany scaleless pied, you would have probably one of the more exceptional snakes ever created. However, scaleless ball pythons are very hard to take care of. For females, I've heard that they have subfertility issues, which means they don't lay as well, and they also have much different care requirements. Even though they are ball pythons, they need more. They need more humidity. They need care when they're when they're shedding, and they also need not rough substrate. So usually like some sort of soil, like a fine cocoa soil, or paper towel, which you're going to be misting sometimes twice daily, depending on where you live. So probably not the best thing to do. Most people, including myself, won't touch them because they're just difficult to care for. They are beautiful, though, there's no doubt. Either way, you don't have to do that. You can ignore the scaleless head, which by itself, just you can see here very vaguely, there's two scales missing from its head. Doesn't do anything to it. No biggie right there. But the idea here is to create the pied version of this, and at a female with only 24 hours left at $90, 3 bids, there's not a lot of interest right now. This could go for a steal, and it's a juvenile. It's got almost 600 grams. This would be a really good one to get into some projects, get definitely a visual pied to it. I would recommend, honestly, a mahogany pied to it, because then you have the potential to make suma pieds along with that black pastel. Sometimes coming along for the ride, which would be really cool. The scale set will sometimes come as well, but just don't work that one if you don't want to create the super scaleless, which again, I do not believe for most people that they should because of that, but some people can work it, and I just don't think everyone should, and I don't think most people should, just because of the care requirements, and it usually won't end well if you don't do a lot of research on them. So alrighty, let's see here. Next up would be this combo, so a male and a female desert ghost clown. So they're not both desert ghost clowns, obviously. It's a project. So the first one, a male, is a yellow belly clown het desert ghost, and then the female is a double het desert ghost clown. So you're basically going for the DG clowns here. On top of that, you have leopard and yellow belly in the mix. Although it says yellow belly there. Why is leopard on there? Pairing. There's a DG het clown, a black pastel. That's an error, I believe. So but yellow belly is in the mix. So yellow belly clown, het desert ghosts, and then a het desert ghost het clown. So either way, that's a awesome combo to make, because the DG clowns are really solid, and they age. I mean, they age how they come out. When they come out of the egg, that's what you got for an adult. You see here, it almost looks like a really nice pastel clown. That's because it is a pastel clown, and it's gonna stay like this. That's what DG does. Is it kind of almost eliminates most of the negatives, I guess you'd say. I don't know if I'd say negative, but most people think that pastel clowns especially age poorly, and they kind of brown out. But Desert Ghost comes along in there and says, no, we're good. And especially with pastel, it looks exceptional. So that's the sort of stuff that you could potentially be going for, are really clean, nice clowns. And they're a wonderful base to put into other projects. Literally anything. They work so well with it. DG is such a great morph to put into those. And it just stands the test of time. So, all right. One of my favorites, I wouldn't say simple, I guess, but one of my favorite combos, especially if you are into freeways, would be the banana Mardi Gras. This is such an exceptional animal. So bright and beautiful. So much going for it. Excuse me. The Mardi Gras by itself, by the way, is the Enchi Asphalt Yellow Belly, which the Asphalt Yellow Belly is in fact a freeway. So if you are going to put banana on top of that, of course it just makes it even better. The fact that this is a female maker is even more exceptional. If you don't know, banana is a pretty unique gene along with coral glow. They're the same thing, by the way. And banana, the males always determine the gender of its offspring. It's not like they're making a conscious choice, but it's passing along certain genetics, right? And one of those genetics determines the gender. Well, it just so happens that gene is attached to the banana gene. The gender and the banana gene are linked. So the banana males are determining the gender of your animal. So then, therefore, when you have a male maker, for example, almost every single one of your offspring here are going to be, when they're bananas, are going to be males, and then vice versa. If you have a female maker, then every single banana would be a female. There is a small margin of error, about 5% is what I've heard, and it's crazy. We actually happen to hit 2 females from a male maker in one. I can't believe the odds. I wish that I could transfer those to like the lottery or something, but we did. And I've gender tested them like 1,000 times, and they are females. 2 of them. We had 2 females, 2 males with the banana gene, because theoretically, everything that's not a male is, if you had a male maker, anyways, and that's banana, then they should all be females. So in this case, if this male were to breed, everything that was banana should be female, and everything that is not banana should be a male. Outside of that's very small margin of error. but it is more exceptional when you get the female makers, because females don't have that issue. Females are, like I said, they don't determine the gender, so they are going to produce 50-50, like normal, basically. The banana gene just goes along, right? The fact of the matter, though, however, lays in the fact that these are just exceptionally looking animals. There's so much color in here, and that's the case with a lot of banana morphs, whether it's just by itself or if it's in this or if it's in clown. The color palette is so insane, and it looks like clouds. These nice yellows, beautiful oranges, lavenders, a different kind of almost glowy type yellow. When you get towards the tail, it dances with red. It's very close to it. Obviously orange is technically a form of red. Just saying, if you're looking at color theory. But the colors here near the tail, and just how quickly and abruptly it changes. Incredible. Just absolutely incredible looking animal. That's why freeways will always be one of the best morphs you can make. If you just want like a staple morph that you can put if you're selling animals, for example, bells, freeways, these are awesome. You should never shy away from making these. So banana Mardi Gras, rather nice. Absolutely. Smells so much about that. I should have probably let off with this one, but this is the freeway without it. You can kind of see what a crazy difference it makes. This one's a girl, however, so you can take that as you will. If you wanted to start making projects like this, these would be good ones to go. However, something to keep in mind here, there's another little trick at play with this combo outside of just the banana gene. The asphalt yellow belly combination, that freeway, is allelic. And in some ways that's good, and in some ways it's actually bad when you're trying to recreate the combo anyway. So let me explain. When you pair an allelic combination up, so this male here, for example, not only is all that stuff that I mentioned about the banana very valid, but it will always pass on one copy of yellow belly or asphalt. Always. You will never have a result without one of the two of them in there. On top of that, they look precisely the same. You will not know which one passed along if it's just by itself with no other indicators, right? Unless you do a shed test or eventually grow it out and pair it. So that means you can't recreate it, though, because it's not going to pass both yellow belly and asphalt. Cannot do that. So it's only going to pass one of them, and it will always pass one of them. So there's the give take. You are for sure not getting normal snakes. You're always getting one of those two genetics. But you will never get both. Not unless you pair it to something, well, like this. If you did this, you would get, well, a lot of different results, because it would always, both of them would always pass one on. So you would either always get super asphalts, you'd either always get super yellow bellies, which would be an all white snake typically, maybe with some yellows on it, or you would always get the combination again of the freeway. And super asphalts, by the way, are really nice. That's the one I'd want along with the freeways. So these are they are still great. They just can be a little tricky to make, and sometimes allelic combos can be a little tricky to understand, but they're not that hard to understand. Just understand that you get a little bit of a give take. You will always pass on one of those two from an allelic combo, asphalt or yellow belly in this case. You will never know which one in this case, because they look precisely the same unless you're willing to send in a shed test. And you will never pass on both from just one parent, at least. You would have to have another combo involved to do so. So give take there, but I think it's worth it, and they're some of the most incredible animals out there. Obviously named for the look of the freeway kind of going down its dorsal. So supers or allelics are where I'm heading now. They're very good. They're a very good idea to do that too, because similar to recessives, you know, sometimes people say it's just a recessive game, and it very much is a recessive game right now, at least from a monetary standpoint. But supers get ignored, in my opinion, and they shouldn't, because they're also very valuable. In fact, they could be a very convincing argument could be made that they are at least just as, if not more valuable, because when I breed a clown, for example, it only passes one head on, so I'm creating double heads. When I breed an allelic, or when I breed a super, it will always pass again one of those on. However, you got something to show for it, because a het doesn't show anything. One copy of these do show something. One copy of supers, for example, a super lesser would always have lessers. So something to consider. They're all very valuable, and they're always going to result in just not having just a normal. So that's always really nice, because normals are obviously, they're still animals and they're beautiful. I still love the wild type pattern, but let's face it, that you get a normal anywhere. That's not what we're trying to create when we do these things. All right, nearing the end here, with something just absolutely incredible would be this acid blackhead Mojave 50% het clown. And I love the blackhead gene. I mean, you can see what it does right there. It's just really dark, but it doesn't compete with lighter genes. And I'm gonna switch the picture, since apparently it also makes me look darker. What it does for the head is just incredible. And on top of that, like I said, it works well with other genetics, with light genetics. A lot of dark morphs kind of conquer the scene, like sometimes you get, especially super black pastel and whatnot. Blackhead doesn't do that. Blackhead works well with lighter morphs. On top of that, acid is just nutty with what it does to the pattern. You can kind of see here, it's similar in its actions to leopard, but still very different. It doesn't make it quite as dark. I feel like it's even more wild. Acid, confusion, and is it static? I think it's static, are all thought to possibly be the same thing. So they all do very, very similar things, including giving belly pattern to the animal, which is super unique. It's not something you see with ball pythons very much, but it does happen on these. Sometimes pastel will take that away, but these are really nice. And again, we haven't even talked about the clown, because if you definitely want to send this in for a shed test, so that you can determine what you want to pair it to. Because if you can get any of these genes in a clown, it's very nice. Acid blackhead clown, that would be incredible. If you don't know what that looks like, I'll go ahead and show you some of these confusion clowns right here. Like I said, confusion and acid are thought to be the exact same thing. You can kind of see that what it's doing just for the pattern there. It actually creates some cool pattern on the head too, almost like a little bit of a starry type pattern. The sides, everything about it is just absolutely wild. And then what I'm talking about with the belly pattern here, this is a confusion leopard clown, and I mentioned the leopard earlier. They actually they pair together incredibly well. This is like hognose level belly, and nobody ever talks about the belly of a ball python, but that's so awesome. The belly here is just so incredible. I absolutely love it. It might not be something that you see all the time, but it is incredible. Here, that Carnage looks cool from the same breeder. I think I might be going to talk about that soon. If you're talking about this one, I think that might be the next thing we're talking about. But we'll see. So, Angel Carl Reptiles, how are you today? Thanks for joining. But yeah, acid is one that acid confusion, any of those, I've been wanting to add that to my collection for quite some time, and more on that maybe in a future video. So like I said, there's nothing quite that does it like this. Like that is like a hognose belly. And then it's not just the belly that it does it to. Look at the sides, look at the head. It ends up adding this kind of orangey type tint to it, I often notice. And again, you'd think that maybe confusion and leopard might cancel each other out because they're similar, but no, they work together well as well. So you got a lot going good for you here. Even if it didn't prove out as het clown, you do have a female here. So you could eventually create some of these combos. There's definitely a use for her, especially with that acid and blackhead in there. And you get a 50-50 shot at her hitting on that as well. She's got a little bit of good size to her too. Not like, juvenile already, but she's got a healthy start to her, let's just say. So This is the one. Yep. So it is the same one. Yep. I already had that one prepared actually. So, um, good call out on that, Macomorph. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yep. So you'll notice, it says Nanny here though, right? That's because Nanny and Carnage are known to be the same, at least I believe thought to be the same. So, they are, but it is pretty cool and incredible. I think that Nanny has been around longer. You know, people had called it that. I don't know if they just popped up in their collection. They named it Carnage, and you know, Carnage probably sounds cooler, right? I mean, for some edgier type sounding than Nanny. But either way, it doesn't matter. Sometimes that happens for whatever various reasons. And they're just really cool. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Alrighty. So, I mean, where do we even start? The sherbet type look, the pattern on the head. Let me see if I can't get a different picture of its head. There we go. Perfect. Faded a little bit, but almost like a star like look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, almost like a sand dollar or a starfish type look. Faded out type pattern in the middle as well. Very, very neat. And the snake itself has, like I said, this like sherbet type look to it. I think these two genetics go together very, very well. It has a lot of good contrast to it, this orangey type look. The almost like I wouldn't say quite lavender, but darn near there on the back dorsal pattern too. And a lot of cool shadowing in between. So really, really beautiful animal. So it's funny that you mentioned that one, because that was our next one up. Absolutely. The price on this is right. That's for sure, especially in a female. 7 bids, 48 hours. It will go up, but I'm surprised to see it not a little bit more, quite frankly. I'll keep an eye on this one myself, but yeah, very neat. And also Phantom and Mystic, by the way. They're the same. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I love Mystic. So Mystic is ironically one of the only Blue-Eyed Lucies that, well, not one of, but it's one of the Blue-Eyed Lucies that you can create combos with other Blue-Eyed Lucies that don't quite follow the rules and create really nice, cool patterns and whatnot. So something just fun fact there. So, but they go very well together here. Absolutely beautiful animal. And that genetic, I think, is starting to take off. Whether it was the name change, I mean, you see people mentioning that, or what, it definitely took off. And there's, in my opinion, there's no doubt that this is the Nanny or Carnage, in my opinion. I don't. It says Pos up here. It is. I don't see how it could be possible from what I'm looking at, because I've made Mystic clowns, and that's not a Mystic clown. So Angel, let me know. I got some confusion for you. Yeah, absolutely. I like I said though, I do have a future video coming out, so I might have scratched that itch, but I still love confusion, so who knows, maybe I want more. Arlo, good evening. How are you today? We got a couple more left, so Sarah says beautiful. Absolutely. Ready. So yeah, if this is a good one. I think if anybody was looking to get into something kind of cool and unique, this could be it, especially at the price that it's at right now. It's a little surprising to me, but then again, I've seen things blow up in the last little bit that that surprised me, and then I've seen certain ones go for much less because of the timing. It really just depends on who's on at any given time and who's paid attention or what they're doing when it's ending. The end times for these are so crucial. I've been doing this for a long time in terms of looking at these auctions, and I can tell you the ones that go well end during the evening, and usually on the weekends. They're better on the weekends, but for sure on the weekend, in the evening. If you are putting a snake up for auction, do not have it end any time. I mean, I wouldn't even have it end as late as 10, because some people, because people will be bidding on it past then. So have it end somewhere between 6 to 9, I guess. and you know, in the evening. That's my recommendation. Anyways, that's the sweet spot. More people are going to be on during that time, and usually on a weekend is better. That's why we started off doing these auction videos, ending on Fridays through Sundays. Let's see here. Hey Kyle, how are you today? Hope you're doing well. Macamorph, did you admit to getting a confusion? I plead this. What's the one you plead, the 5th? Yeah, I plead the 5th. We'll see. Sarah, that carnage is a Colorado sunset all shook up. That's a nice way to put it. It's very poetic. Very poetic. By the way, I think you said you're from California, so I hope you're okay. I know what's going on down there, so. At least I believe. I remember in the past you mentioning that, so. Alrighty. Alright, next up would be a proven breeder. I always love showing these off if you wanted to get into something right away. This is a cinnamon pastel, otherwise known as a pewter het clown. It says clown, but again, I think that's just a mistake there. It says it here in the trade's het. This one has proven a few times, 7 to 10 egg layer at that. That is you don't see a proven breeder like that reliable up here all that much. $30 right now. It's got some time left on it, but does it say when it was bred last? It does not, but I'm sure if you speak to the to them, I mean, either way it's worth it. A proven breeder like this does not come along all the time. Cinnamon clowns are incredible, and pewter is actually a good combo with pastel, there's no doubt. Lots of ways you can even improve this, of course, but just if you are looking to get into something right away and start off, this would be a good one to do so. Whether you're starting and you want to make cool things and still kind of learn, like I said, you get a proven breeder like this size at that, that's not something that comes along all the time. Looks like it might have just laid, by the way, just because they said 600 or it's 2,000 grams right now. 2,600 plus grams pre-lay, so that kind of hints to me at least that it had just laid. But either way, and like, you know, by the time it's ready to go, you're having something that's going to produce 7 to 10 eggs, depending on the price of this, what it goes at. You're going to make your money back, at least from a monetary standpoint, if that's all you're looking at it, pretty easily, I would say. And you definitely want to put to a visual clown, though. There's no doubt in my mind about that, given that you have that het to play with. A really good opportunity for just about anybody if you're just getting started, and you kind of want to dabble and create cool animals, but don't have a big budget. This one could end up being good. Again, it's still got some time, so we'll see what the pricing ends up as. But I think it could also be good for someone who's kind of still building their collection, still wants to make cool things, and they're building up some of their stuff, maybe having a few clowns in their collection, maybe just need to fill a spot, so to speak, and still want to make cool animals, and cinnamon is one of those that would be great. So Meg says, I know Paradox isn't genetic, but I think I have a Paradox banana pied. I can't find any examples of them. Does that also impact asking price, even though it's not a trait they can pass on? So if you have a Paradox, you usually would know. It's got something abnormal. So like a banana might just randomly say, I'm not a banana anymore. Let me see if I can't find one. I've only got one more animal here to go over, but they're all different too, so you wouldn't, they're not going to look the same, so to speak. To answer your other question, does it affect price? Well, it certainly can, and it usually does, because they are they're unique. We saw the one with the head stamp earlier. Where was it? Maybe it's actually ending soon, or was it? There it is. 13 minutes left on this one. This is not a Paradox, but its uniqueness alone has in its head stamp there that like I said, they call it Pharaohist because it looks like a little idol. That uniqueness is driving quite a bit of this price, and it's the same thing with a lot of the Paradox ball pythons. It's the same thing. Let me find one here for you though. Okay, here's a good one. It's a good one to show off. If I can get the picture going. Perfect. Come on, get on screen. So you see two of them here, and what Paradox does to it. So this is their bananas. One's a banana pied and one's a banana het pied. And the snake has randomly decided to say on the banana that, oh, I'm not a banana. It's not affected genetically in any way, in a bad way. It's just created something incredibly cool and unique. Whereas you do have a banana from a genetic standpoint for sure, but it's like the coding for the genetics just forgot on part of it and just decided to say, I'm a normal, never mind. It's super rare and very, very cool. And this one here is nuts too, because it's like you almost don't even see the banana as much as you do the regular pattern. It's mostly all white at that, so I'd love to have seen if this thing had pattern, and that'd have been so cool. But it is a banana. It's a banana pied, because you can't have that and it not be. So Paradox might show itself like that. It might show itself just like little black dots. Well, I shouldn't say that with the banana. That's a little misleading, because bananas have little black dots all over them as is. So yeah. That's a good one, Kyle. Peeled banana. It kind of does look like that, so. Let's see. How would you mail one of these babies? These yeah, no, you don't. No, shipping right now, and like, cause I have a few of them coming in. It's for all intents and purposes, pun intended, frozen. No shipping right now. No one in their right mind would ship. It would not result in anything good. There's no heat pack that could keep up with what we've got. So basically, you just don't. You don't. And if anybody tries to ship in this weather, that's not responsible. So that is how you handle that. You just don't. And we have great resources through Redline, through all of the shipping, the major shipping companies that do ball pythons, whether it's Ship Your Reptiles, Redline, Morphmarket itself. All of them have resources on their webpage that tell you, do not do this. Do not do this. And in fact, if you have insurance, it is void if you do it. So you'd just be messing yourself up if you did it in this. Same thing with hot weather, honestly. In fact, hot weather is arguably, in fact, I don't even think there's anything to argue about. It's worse. You want a for sure way to cook them in a little teeny box that you're shipping. That's for sure a way to do it. But you don't ship in this. I've got one or two of them on their way here that will get here when they get here. They're right for now. They're sitting at the facility, nice and warm, being fed for me. So I'm in no hurry to get them. And quite frankly, I've never understood why people are. I guess I get it from just a standpoint of the getting it in your possession, right? It's always cool to have that, but right now it's being fed for free, and I still own it. So, you can only see that snake is on my save list for the Pharaoh. Oh yeah, this is mine. You can only see its banana patches, so kind of like that one. Then yeah, that definitely would affect cost. It just depends, because it's all uniqueness, so it's depending on what people will pay. There's really no way to put a price tag on it, honestly, at least in my opinion. Special heat packs, what we use when they ship. We don't ship when temperatures are below 40. See, you need better heat packs, like the ones that last longer, and they still only work when it's around 40-ish. So right now, these next few weeks, I don't even think next week is going to be good. But it could be. But yeah, you just use like a specific heat pack. You can't use like the hand warmers. They won't last as long, and they get way hot. Too hot. You need these special ones that you get. And usually they'll sell them on those shipping websites as well. So I've been keeping my Search is very local. Worst case scenario if my car broke down. Yeah, local is different. If you can go meet them, that's a completely different story. However, I'll share something from this weekend that happened to me. Nothing bad happened, thankfully. But we went to that show. We did the Valparaiso show on Saturday, and it went very well. I had, but of course you're not ship them, you bring them there and back. And my car is very warm. We warm it up beforehand. I don't know what it was, but there was one that we brought separately in its own little box rather than in my normal display case, which warms up, but no biggie. It was put on the ground in my car, and I have about a 5-minute drive to the venue, to my home, and immediately I bring those ones in first because they're not, even though it's warm in my car, we wait till it's nice and warm. I brought it in, and it was rock cold and non-responsive for a little bit. I couldn't believe it. I panicked, and it's fine now. It's been a few days now, but I couldn't believe it. It was on the ground of the car in a warm car. So even then, just make sure you have it next to you, because that's something I didn't expect. So just learn from that. Even don't put it on the floor of the car. I don't know what. I mean, I know it's lower, so it's not as warm, but I didn't expect that by any means. So just be careful even in that case. It's that brutally cold out. It's that brutally cold. So, but local is still a great way to go. You just keep them nice and warm. Usually if it's just one animal, no biggie. In fact, wear a hoodie or a coat and put them in the coat, and that way they share your body warmth. Better than that in regards. But definitely learn from what I did. I couldn't believe that. Never expected that, and thank God it was a very quick ride. Otherwise it might not have been a good story, because apparently it was just that cold where my feet not where my feet were, but on the floor of the car. So just something I didn't think about. I've told people everything has a price. I would drive the animals to them. Yeah, if some people will meet up within a good amount of reason, depending on it, the cost of the animal and whatnot. Maybe you meet halfway or something like that. So that's usually how I view it, is anything within like an hour or so. I mean, we're up in Northwest Indiana. I've driven pretty far in the past, but I've driven to Indy. Heck, when we're not allowed to say the word, I think, still to this day for whatever reason, but the pandemic, everybody knows what it was. They canceled Tinley that year, and I had already looked into animals. I just kind of wanted to go, and I had like an idea. It was very I was still adding to my collection and stuff like that at the time, but I drove all the way into Iowa and then up into Southwest Wisconsin to go ironically see Southwest Wisconsin reptiles. So that was a bit of a trek. Fun little road trip though. So but yeah, don't ship in this weather. Do not ship, and even in the car, just be careful. Alrighty. Spoke a long time there, and all we have is one animal left, and that would be this Fire Pastel Inchy Pinstripe Lace. That's also 100% het clown and 100% het pied. A girl at that. There's a lot of good power in here, and the price is definitely cool. Depending on what this ends at, it went up shortly before the auction. There's, like I said, there's a lot of power in this. We've gotten an animal from Oro Reptiles as well. They're really solid. Really enjoy doing business with them. But the lace clown itself, the lace clown, the lace gene itself is where I mainly zeroed in on picking this one. Because lace is a really good gene no matter what you put it with it, and it is always going to improve what you do. Always. It's like a different sort of dose of what Desert Ghost does, where it cleans it up, but in my opinion it does it a little differently. It doesn't it enhances, let's put it that way. It actually doesn't really clean up the pattern, which I like in this case, because Desert Ghost cleaning it up is great for contrast, but sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, that chaos is actually cool. It doesn't seem to mess with that, so you can have like a lot of shadowing and effects like that. It just does it a little bit differently, and it enhances literally everything that it touches. It's very good with clown, it's very good with pied, and it happens to be that this is a double het, so clown pied lace. Has it been done? Well, yeah. And this is what it looks like. It's incredible. The bursting colors out of this isn't something you normally get from a clown pied. It radiates. It feels like it literally radiates, especially this one. Out a pattern like this edging here, how bright and beautiful it is. You have a lot of contrast here. Just an incredibly bright animal. Probably one of the most intense oranges I've seen. Lace does that, especially with orange. I think it is hand in hand it is the best. I'll just be on record. In my opinion, it's the best for creating beautiful oranges. There's some lace clowns. Let me look it up real. I've shown it in nearly every one of these that I do. But they're like some of the brightest animals I think I've ever seen. Let's see it here. There it is. They're like just pure neon. There we go. Like I said, if you were looking to create a beautiful orange color, lace is the way to do that. It's the best way to do that, and it's good at doing it, but without sacrificing anything. And there's a whole bunch of different ones that different combos you can get with this. But like I said, you can see it there in just no matter what combo you're going for, whether it's by itself, whether it's with that. Orange is definitely one of its specialties. Absolutely gorgeous. So lace certainly makes the orange glow. Yeah, like I said, it's like it's radiation coming off of there. If you're not thinking about the green, like if most people think of radiation, they think of a green glow, sure, but it is like radiating like a lava type of color. It's nuts. And that's the sort of potential I see. And whenever I try to show these videos off, you right here, you almost look at it and probably say that's a nice clean looking lemon blast. That might be what you think, because pinstripe and pastel clearly are available here for you all to see. Fire, sure, inchy, yeah, I can tell that. And then the lace is more subtle. Have we done that? The video for the subtle jeans came out, right?
No.
Oh, my next. I thought it came out. Are you sure?
It's not like till next month.
We're doing a gene on not a movie. A video on subtle jeans. We film way in advance. That's how I like to do it that way, because then I'm not under pressure. So sometimes I don't even know what videos I have released. So I have to ask him. Either way, now you know. There's a one coming out that's all about these subtle genes. We're identifying 5 of them specifically, and newsflash, lace is one of them. And that's kind of why, because I want to show people this. And you look at this, and you might see just this. You're just like, whatever. What else can I do to this? That's what you can do. That is what the potential here is. And quite frankly, pinstripe and inchy both pair incredibly well with pied, because they bring more pattern in, and pinstripe kind of solidifies the pattern. So I don't even know. You might have something just pure orange blotches for that. Like it might just be this color, like on the edging there. Wouldn't that be cool? The fire is another one that just kind of cleans it up and makes it glow. So Owlman got the lowdown. Yeah, he does. He knows about all that stuff. I just talk about things, and he makes it sound coherent. That's why I got to be on my best behavior during these, because you can't do that here. Hypo Super in our Mandarin white lace. That'd be a really good one. So if anybody doesn't know about what that is, for the longest time everybody thought it was the Super Mandarin. Super Mandarins are very cool, but it's hypo that makes it go over the top. And if you get the white lace in there, that'd probably be the next step to make something even more incredible with those oranges. That'd be so cool. The only thing better would be a white lace version of that. White lace being the super version of lace, by the way. So how are you, Scaled Worm? You caught us right here at the end. That was our last one, actually. So yeah, that'll do it for the day in terms of what what we're looking at in terms of the auctions and stuff like that. That is a good name, Sarah. Scaled worm. But yeah, if anybody's got any questions real quick, yeah, go ahead. In the meantime, I actually have them. It's just a Mandarin pastel, but I do have one. By itself, Mandarin is I wouldn't say it's nothing to think about, but it is it's a little given the fanfare behind it, I guess it seems underwhelming. It's not a subtle gene by any means, but can you go grab the Mandarin actually? I can show it. Hopefully it's not in shed like everything else all the time. You know where it is, right? Where he is? Okay. What's that?
I need a flashlight.
Where's the flashlight? I still need to replace the battery in there for the light. Yeah, we'll go ahead and show that Mandarin off that we have. I actually looked into this dude. Well, by itself, it doesn't really look all that much. Is he? Seriously? It's just, no, it's the lighting. It's difficult to see. I actually got him from Chris Hernan. But just by itself, it almost just barely looks like a little bit better than a pastel. But obviously, he's getting put into a hypo project. That's a no doubter right there. So, but just like I said, it's another one that just seems a little unassuming right off the bat, anyways. But when you get the 2 copies of it, then it really pops. So, go ahead and put him back. I don't know if I want to show off anything else today. Maybe we'll save it for next time. But yeah, if nobody else has any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. So we always appreciate everybody popping in. Again, as usual, probably gonna keep doing these as best as we can on Tuesdays, barring anything crazy. It looks like the internet held. I don't know what we're showing on our end, but it looks like nobody had any issues majorly. So
Probably something to do with the fact that I told it to or be in low latency, not ultra low.
whatever the heck that means. Cool.
It means there's more time for it to load before it would buffer.
See, he knows all this technical stuff. Yeah. That's why we make a good team, because I could care less about that. But you could also, you don't know the genetics like me. You're just like Pretty Snake. You want to tell anybody what you call our brightest snake?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways, hope everybody had enjoyed, and we will catch you in the next one. Like I said, we'll try to go again on Tuesday, and then we should have our regular auction on video coming out on Friday. What's this week's video? You told me I needed to review it.
Lelix one.
The Lelix?
Super Lelix, yeah, that one.
Super Lelix. Oh, Super Xana Lelix. Okay. Yeah. Well, welcome, Dorothy. And totally someone who I don't know, who just so happens to have my same last name. Internet would spaz for a few seconds. Well, that probably is the case because Johnny spaz too, and I think it's just our household. Dorothy is my wife, by the way. See you all on Discord. See you there, Edgar. Cliffhanger. Yep, you gotta tell us now. Huh, I outed you. Now you have to tell them what you call the bright thing later. We'll leave it for another time, so. Alright, well, thank you again for everybody for joining. We will see you in the next one. Again, Sunday's video is about supers and a Lelix, which is something we kind of talked about earlier. So we'll see you all then. Thanks again for joining, and we'll talk to you in the next one.